Right. Anyway, I'll sort of kickstart it, right? First and foremost, I got to say one. So there are four people. They have done really well. The assignment, and I will sort of go through a bit of explain, surely what those, that diagram. That way, sort of, you can understand better. But mainly, you got some idea, and some of them even gone beyond that thing. Sort of, I like it, introduction sort of thing. It's really, but out of all, um, RN11 did extremely well. Couldn't believe, I never expected. Last time also, yeah. It's really very articulated, extremely articulated, yeah. So I like that people, right? So say this example that I have already given to you to do the exam for last week assignment. It's I think I told you before, International English Language Testing System, right? So that is basically straight out of that, right? This is one of the questions, past questions. So because I have structure, so I want to take you to, that's my goal, right? So that's why I have structured in such a way that I can take you to that sort of level, right? So you try not to get me into sort of frustration. When I get frustrated, sort of something nothing like if my dog frustrated me, I would have sort of given to somebody else, because that's not the dog I want to. It's simple as that, right? Okay, so I'm that type of person. I want everything best out of best, and people sort of teaching also out of, right? So because of that, because I'm sort of, my goal is always sort of different goal than other people. Some people, they go slowly, this and that, and singing and sort of dancing sort of thing. I can't do that because I'm a professional, right? I'm a professional. I'm managing sort of 100 people, all English speaking people. So I have to be professional, otherwise I can't manage those people. Mm-hmm. So because our people will come up live. That's why I wanted to sort of teach. But if I'm frustrated, probably I might walk away. So make sure that you do things properly, and you have to do your homework. You have to do extra work, right? I have seen sort of you have in the assignment. I could see some all four did some what do you call some homework, or self-study, finding some information, extra information, right? So keep it up. So this all I want to say, because from next week there would be less people, right? Already I decided to drop few people, right? Okay, because the reason I want to drop them off from this class, because I need for them to understand that if they want to go slow, they can slowly, they can find another teacher, and that teacher might sort of go slowly, right? But in my class, there is no way I'm going to go slow, right? Because as I said, I want to make you all the best, because you don't know from there, but from here, I know how competitive universities, competitive workplace, competitive, very competitive, right? So I had to make you all to that sort of standard. Otherwise, sort of, no point teaching. I can sort of, I can't teach like, simple, put some verbs and make, and, finish the class and then come back next week. I can't do that, right? Because that is not going to help you or help me either. Because I do everything for, that is personal satisfaction, when I'm teaching, when they are coming. So I taught sort of, A-level student, right? So one is my first cousin. She's a doctor here. She went to entered medicine. Another cousin, second cousin, he became an engineer. So there are a few people I've taught. Because I provide the best quality education, right? That is my bottom. As I said, that good example is the door, right? I spend so much money to have sort of, my favorite door. Yeah. That's the same thing, right? Same thing applies across the board. Okay. So now we talk about, I'm going to sort of look at the diagram and explain to you. Then I want to pick up few people sort of made some mistakes. I want to bring it up, especially grammar, right? Because as I said, it's a sort of real exam paper question, right? So you had to do, when you answer, your answer should be really, so they say band 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, up to 9, band 9. Band 9 is the top. I think Sajin Dhanama, so your one is really good. Your assignment is really good.
Thank you.
Last minute you submitted, but it's because that's the one I sort of looked at first, and when I looked at, oh, she has done again. Yeah. Okay. So I am going to share this screen. Basically, when I think I have shown you the clay pit as well, I can say. So clay pit, you had to go and sort of select them, sort of, say if I'm the businessman, I go with the sort of, experts and especially structural engineers. So it's called geotechnical engineers. They can actually find out the best clay, yeah? So the best clay pit problem. So that's from the clay pit, bigger is normally we call it backhoe, right? So, or excavator, you can see the bucket in front of us. So that goes and sort of, it goes and scrap that thing. First, they take the topsoil. Topsoil is basically grass and everything grows from the topsoil. Under the topsoil, there is basically clay. There could be some sandstone, others, rocks and things like that, but they go and find the clay pit, right, where you can extract clay. Sometimes what happens is sort of clay with some vegetation or, dead vegetation. That sort of material also mixed with that sort of clay. So that's why they use this filter, right? So the basically filter, this is sort of, filter, as well as it will break up, it's called lump, big, very cutty and so on, that's a lump, clay lump. So when you, this goes horizontally like that. So what happens is it breaks up that lump and then so through that sort of net, it drops on. And all the leaves matter, everything sort of, stays on the top, right? So basically, whatever goes down onto the roller, it's pure clay, right? Pure clay, but they are pieces, right? So what happens, so roller is basically taking this one because that's why they are using the roller. It's called conveyor belt. And you see that is conveyor belt. It drops down and the conveyor belt take this one, because if you extend this one, that goes and drop into one of these things, right? So this is sort of basically the conveyor belt is here carrying clay, and you are adding sand and water. Sand, what happens is sand is making the clay more, because you are mixing with sand. Sand density is higher than the clay density because it's a bit stronger. It's called silicon, is the chemical compound, we call it silicon, right? So sand and water ratio is there, so they mix with this one. Either it can go through that little, it's called, we call it extruder machine. So that clay send it through this one extruder. So that goes through this, and then comes out with that sort of nice shape, because it is already that like a sort of the box is pretty much pre-designed. So you can change the sizes, dimensions, whatever suits you. But normally bricks got certain standard dimensions there, because everywhere they had to use the sort of standard architecture view. There's different sizes they use, like top of the arch or something, they use different bricks and different sizes and things like that, right? So either it can go through this one, or you can go, and what happens is it drops into the mold. So the series of mold there, so it drops into that one. So in one go, there may be 20 or 30 and wet bricks sort of come out of that thing. Because, once filled in, and what happens is there is a sort of it's called plunge, just, press that thing down. So very compacted, and then drop it. So when it drops, all the wet bricks come out of this mold, right? So then once you got this one, they send it to the, again, conveyor belt and into drying oven, right? So oven is basically, oven is, right? A certain temperature they maintain to dry this one, because it is wet, right? So that's why in the oven they leave it 20 to 48 hours, right? Because you added water and clay already got moisture in it, right, from the pit. So add more water. So, so you have to take that water out, by evaporation. When you put it in the drying oven, the water evaporates. Then what happens is send it through. Here there is no such things like you leave it or keep it there forever, right? Or for 2 hours or 10 hours. Now, what they do is, this is kiln is the sort of chamber, one chamber and a second chamber. This is sort of, you find that sort of, it's called firing gun, with the sort of fire comes through is, the gas, you lighten the gas. So it basically, like a hose, water hose, its fire is sort of, they basically pointed at these bricks. Because there is a gap between the brick, say first layer, little gap, then second layer, third layer, fourth layer. So this fire basically travels through that sort of bricks. So that's why we are fired bricks, we call it fired, because that is making more, more strength, right? So, but still it is traveling at a, very slow pace, right? And then second chamber, that temperature you can see, that's sort of 980. And then second chamber, it's a bit higher. So then from here you can come to conclusion, this brick can stand up to 1,300. So, water is only, boiling point is 100 C, right? 100 degrees C. This is 1,300. So here I would like to say about the cremation as well. You know, the day I told you cremation, this is most of the Hindu people, they send it a cremation, and some Christians also they do, right? Especially those who have got plates in the, you know, pelvic, or, you know, sometimes they plates, so they can't bury it because it won't get decomposed. It takes a while. And the plate also expensive, they can return it, right? So they basically get cremated, body cremated, right? So they are sort of 600 to 800. Because I have seen, right? I have seen this from my father's sort of funeral. I have seen cremated. So basically, you can say he died in Canada. He was cremated in Canada. So this it's like a chamber. So you can basically push the button because you are son of that dead person, and then as soon as you push the button, the fire started burning, right? So you can see that intensive fire. You can see the glass panel there. You can see if you want to. So around that sort of box, you know, coffin, right? Around the box, you see all the brickworks. Because brickworks, you know, they contain the heat inside. So for body to burn and becomes ash, so normally they leave it for 3 to 4 hours, completely burns all sort of white powder, right? But the temperature goes up to 800. So you can see that, you know, the brick can stand up to 1,300, more than 1,300. So that's why they use bricks inside around the coffin. That's called chamber. The coffin goes in the middle, sits there, burning around. So that I'm just comparing the temperature. I'm talking about 1,300. So firing, making this one more stronger, right? So because this is almost like, what do you call? It's like a fire, right? So you have to cool it down, otherwise you can't handle it. You can't lift it because the temperature is around that temperature. So you will be gone, right? So that's why 48 hours to 72 hours you have to cooling chamber. So basically, water droplets are dropped through it, right? So that's how they cool it. Cooling chamber is sort of such a way, and then the hot water, because when the water gets down, it's still hot, very warm water or hot water. Take it and cool it, you know, on the way they cool it and then send it back. So recycling the water as well, right? So that is called cooling chamber. And then once everything is cool, almost room temperature, they will start packing, right? So it's called pallets. So you put the sort of, you know, with the steel bands, and then sort of, you know, thick polythene they use to sort of wrap up. And what they do is once this one is packed, delivered to the outlets. So that's the sort of a process, right? So I just want to focus on some people's sort of, you know, assignment. So I have mentioned I said you've got to use, right? Because this is the process, so you use simple present passive, right? Say, for example, someone said, you know, it has been made, right? It has been made, right? So I prefer it is made because it's a sort of, you know, every day it's happening. It has been made when you are bringing either information, because present perfect is information. Say, but if process is happening again and again, so that's why simple, present, passive. Yeah. So there is another one is, I don't know why that sort of, came about, but we use it, right? But instead of we use it, we used it. So the past tense shouldn't be there. Always, we use this breaks. You don't say we use this. We used mean, you past tense, you are telling that, we used before, now we don't use it. Because every time, you are using it, you are using it, the breaks, yeah? So we simple present you got to use. That's called we use it, right? Someone made a mistake. So make sure that next time, just if you are not sure, you can go back and always look at the, explanation back, sort of, present tense. So because I'm talking about here, seriousness is here because this is the exam paper I extracted from the exam paper, because I have seen that the teacher correcting all the exam paper comments also there. I saw that they pick up inverted comma and the use of grammar, everything they look at. So that's how you get that sort of, band 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, right? So you got to basically, when you are doing all these things, you think that you are submitting this is for the exam, right? So you have to make sure, just go back and go through again and make sure that you are using the correct. Because very simple, right? You can't use, we used it. That's me. In the past, now we don't use it. That's a sort of what I'm saying is, try to use the common sense as well, right? Why I am sort of using it, and that sort of, I'm talking about the past thing, or I'm talking about everyday thing, right? So the another one is before many years. Before many years. So I prefer sort of many years ago, right? So when you are using it, say, many years ago, they used this, or they prepared these breaks by hand, right? Okay. So prepare this by hand many years ago. And sort of, The other one is, again, the full stop. Sometimes the full stop is inappropriate, so you should not use the full stop everywhere, no? Say, many years ago, full stop. There is no sentence, you haven't completed the sentence, how can you put the full stop there? Yeah? So these are grammatical mistakes you should not make. So the fire, I think, killed, I have already mentioned about it. So fire is directed. This is basically fired breaks on, so that, the fire is directed towards the breaks, right? That's called fire. So I expected you all, I think probably one use that sort of fire, right? Because these are very, in the process, firing is important, right? That's one of the activities, right? So you have to make. So these are the things they look at, If I'm an examiner, I'm going to look at. That's how I correct all these things, because I know I picked up all these things, right? Okay. Because for me, let's say once every week, at least 4 reports I sort of go through, right? This is all professional. Senior engineers, they submit the report to me to look at. I review it. I sort of, you have to put the sort of right words as well as right information there. So you haven't picked up the sort of right information. So I do pretty much every single day. So that's why I'm sort of, that sort of person is helping you guys to sort of come to that sort of that state, right? So don't make a mistake sending me home. yeah, I told you that passing through, right? Passing through the chamber 1, chamber 2. First chamber is moderate and then high temperature chamber, right? So you can sort of make, chamber, right? So you could have put that thing in there. Another mistake I found, say, the final sentence, right? So this is made and ready to be delivered. Someone put ready to deliver. Doesn't make sense, right? Ready to be delivered. That is a passive, to be delivered, right? So make sure that your grammar is correct. Try to look again before you send it. I don't want to say sort of, very simple mistakes you should not, because you're banned from band 6 to band 5, drops down because, you make silly, we call it silly mistake. SILLY, silly mistakes means sort of, that is wrong, but still you sort of leave it sir to look at and say, make comments about it. You should not do that, right? The other one is we normally look at the information is given there complete. Say, for example, one person is putting the cooling chamber is 24 to 72 hours, but it clearly says 48 to 72 hours. Why you want to change the hours, right? Because if I'm an examiner, I'm pretty sure, I'm very fed up with them. Why you want to change it? Because that's the facts, right? It's given, everything is, that's facts already given. You don't need to manipulate the facts, right? Unless you have done some research and, come up with, okay, we can shorten the, I have seen a lot of reports about it, right? But that is different thing because that person done. So normally they submit that. So I ask justification why you want to shorten the period. You give that justification, right? So whatever the information there, so you make sure that you take that information, copy that information when you are explaining it, right? Okay, so this is basically what happens is, because this is very relevant, the one I'm talking about. Yeah, so basically, so this is the sort of actual plant where the process is. What happens is, I say, I'm a new person, employed, right? So what they do is sort of, you are employed, they give the sort of, appointment letter, and they say, you come to this sort of office on such and such day at this time. We're going to go through that sort of, how this process, because that person doesn't know how it works, right? That's why I have given this assignment. So that person will be given all sort of the sort of supervisor will go through all the steps. That is part of the job, right? The first day he should be given. If he is not given, basically that employer will be fined, because you can't put anyone at risk. Because if you don't know that, say for example, you are walking into the pit and this digger is coming, and then this guy sort of, put this one down and he was walking underneath, he got injured. So this is the sort of it's called operation manual. So this is how it works. Starts from here. From here, this is the temperature. You had to keep away from these chambers, and you had to put the gloves and a lot of things. This is a sort of, it's called, so top of that, safety manual, everything goes with that one, but this is sort of, purely the operational manual, right? Any questions? Any questions? Probably I'll try to sort of go along that. LTS, but don't copy. Right? I hate people copying. Right? You own this thing. I like to see your own work. Anyway, so I'm going to share another screen. Yeah. So this is very interesting, right? I think you never come across before. I don't think so. Right. The question, this is all about like, say for example, I enjoy. So we don't put in between, just ing form. I enjoy dancing. I enjoy laughing. I enjoy throwing the hat in the air, right? So only that after verb, so ing verb is coming, or ing form, right? So next one is, would you mind, that's a question, would you mind closing the door? Say, you can say mind and would you mind. Mind is verb and then ing form, closing, right? Then suggest also have that ing form. Ian suggested going to cinema, right? Excuse me. Right? So you should not use to there, right? Suggests to go to the cinema. No, suggested going to the cinema. Right? Same thing that you can use for these verbs. You can use ing form with these verbs. Stop. I stopped playing. I stopped reading. Yeah. So I stopped sailing. I delay doing my homework. I fancy going out. You know, fancy, right? Just fun, right? Fancy. Fancy going out this evening. Okay, another one is consider. Also, you can use consider going to live in another country. Have you ever considered? Because a lot of grammar we studied. That's why sort of, I giving, exercise after exercise, like, this write up, because I want to test your grammar. Because you got to have some the way of studying it. You basically, memory is very important, and choose the sort of right one, and the practice. Three aspects you got to look at. One is memory, other one is practice, other one is self-study, go and study. Spend at least sort of, because I give 1 week, right? 1 week is a lot of hours. So say you get up at 6 o'clock and go to sleep at 9 o'clock, right? Say for lunch, and so 1.5 hours if you take it out. So basically, somewhere around 12 hours you have. So 12 hours times 7 days, 144. So hours you have to. So with that 440 hours, you had to allocate each subject and, practice, and look up, because I have already given explanation. I doubt that not too many people look at that explanation. They just sake of coming. Take the books. Okay, today sir is coming. I'm going to, that's it. And after that, throw on onto the table and sort of do whatever you like to do. So I don't want you to do that sort of thing. Yeah. We call it, in English, we call it commitment. You got to have some commitment to do things. Then only you can come up in life. Come up, not go down, come up in life. Yeah. So this is ing verb you can use for with this is called like give up, put off. Give up mean I give up studies, right? I give up say give up feeding my dog. That's when I stop feeding things. The poor dog is going to suffer, right? Put off, postpone. So Paula has given up smoking, right? The other one is we must do something. We can't go on like living like this because the poor condition. We can't go on living like this, So when you go on, right? That's called phrasal verb. Give up, all these things called phrasal verb, right? Give up, give away, put up, keep on, carry on. Yeah. So there is another one. So this is sort of not sort of present, right? I don't like spending too much time. So you are telling now, right? But if it is past, for past, what you have to do is say for example, riding, right? I can't imagine George riding a mouse, right? So I have read. So instead of riding, you can say having ridden, having done, right? Having kept. Okay, so that is for the finished, already past, finished action. You can use instead of say I stop fading, right? So that is already finished action. So I stop having fed my dog. Okay, so you can say finished action. You have to put having in front of that ing form. Sorry, not ing. That is basically present perfect, but ing form it should be in front, like having, right? So, so regret saying, or I now regret having said. Sometime even the finished action you can use just ing form only for some verbs, not all, some. Okay, so this, I think I'm going to give you this exercise as well for next week. So have anyone got a question? Question after question. I can see everyone's, face is very clear. They understood well. Is that right? That's my interpretation. Any questions? Or if you don't ask questions, I'm going to ask questions. Right. Start from Arun. Right. So what? Say this ing. Okay. I think I explained. So one is just present action. The second is finished action. 2 examples. Because you all said no questions, so that means you understood, right?
Yeah, I enjoy spending time with my friends.
Right.
Finished action.
Finished action.
Yeah. I gave up on practicing music.
You gave up what?
Practicing music.
I said sort of, finished action. That is sort of present action. Oh. Finished. Finished action, you got to put, what is that? Having sort of present participle, but ing form. The participle become ing form. Because finish, you finish, right? Present perfect is like, finished action, right? Yeah. Say one more example. Some are very thinking about, scared about asking question, right? Don't get scared. Say, I just give you an example, right? I stopped having played cricket. Having played cricket. So finished action, right?
Let me think.
Should come straight away because that sort of people you all are, from the assignment. I thought you all are much better people. You can tell like that.
I don't know. Today my mind is feeling a bit cloudy.
Right, becoming cloudy. It's a bit sad, isn't it? I mean, this time this is only 6:30, something like that, right? Yeah, 6:30. So too early to go to bed.
No, I said my mind is getting a bit cloudy.
Yeah, so yeah, that's what I sort of. It should not, because it's straightforward. Very simple, right? There is no hanky panky, sort of straight. Say another example, right? My mom, right? My mom denied having done denied having cooked dinner. So that means she denied that she didn't want to cook the dinner, right? Okay, or stopped. Right? So very easy one, So you can either homework or either a lot of things you can say. So I can go to then you think about it. I come back to you, right? Now, Tanushalniam, your turn. One is the present action and the finished action. Only 2, not for 10, just 2.
The lung cancer patient gave up smoking.
Right.
The second one, she enjoys having played soccer.
She enjoyed having
played soccer.
Played, is it? Having played a doctor.
Soccer.
Soccer. Okay, sorry. Yeah. Good one. Yeah. The Sajindanama, your turn. Thank you.
She has stopped having non-veg food.
What is it?
She has stopped having non-veg food.
Having non-veg food. Right. So that is a present one. Okay. How about the finished action? So present perfect, but ing form. Having done or having played, having cooked or having fought, having done, having made.
She has stopped attending the English class.
What is it?
She has stopped to attend the English class.
She stopped having.
She has stopped to attend the English class.
No, Ma, you can't put 2. I'm talking about ing form, right? Ing form. So ing form is, right? One is he stopped playing, right? The other one is, so finished. She stopped having played, right? soccer, cricket, anything, right? There is no to, because here we are talking about ing form. One is present action and other one is the finished action. Only two actions. Yeah.
So she has stopped attending the English class.
Yeah, that is present. Yeah. How about the finished action? So she admitted having, right, having hit her best friend, right? She admitted having hit her friend, right? Okay, Loka Priyama, I want to say what's your understanding of. So two examples. One is present action and the other one is finished action. Yep.
I enjoy playing with my friend.
Right. The other one is finished action.
I haven't done my homework.
So first of all, you that's right, but you had to say something about it. Say, I stopped having done my homework, right? Or I stopped something that, because verbs should come there, right? I stopped, because past is finished action is always past, right? So that's why I stopped having done my homework, right? Having done. So stopped. Okay. So finished action. Right. Okay. I'm trying to find out. Santosh, your turn.
I've stopped going to events in my neighborhood.
Right. Good.
I enjoyed having played with my friends when I was a child.
Very good. Very good. Really good. Who is the next? I think Purnama. You want to have a crack at it?
Yes, sir. Okay. I stopped going school.
Stop going to school. Okay. Yeah.
I enjoyed my dinner.
You enjoyed having
dinner.
So that is also ing form. That's not present perfect. So you have to say have plus participle. That's how. So I would say, like I enjoyed, right? I enjoyed having had my dinner. So that is because have is sort of, eat, right? Having is sort of past present participle, present perfect. So having had my dinner, okay? So I'm going back. Thank you, Mark. Going back to currently level.
Yes. He denied having played with us.
Right. Okay. All right. Good. So I wouldn't say sort of, see you next class or something, because not everyone is coming back to the next class. So, but I want to say everyone that, thanks for being part of this sort of, group. And you guys are lovely. You guys done a lot of things and made me happy, right? Those who are leaving, I'm saying, good luck, and you keep sort of, you change your pattern, how you study things. You've got to learn from other people how you study, how fast you want to go, and things like that, right? But I can give another thing. So you can come to the class, but you can't actively participate. Probably you're just sitting in the, there and sort of listening. That's all. But you won't actively participate, right? Because it will slow down the process, right? So thank you all. Please kind to each other. My advice is be kind to each other. Be kind to each other. Okay? Take care. Okay?
Thank you, sir.
Bye-bye.
Okay, sir.
Thank you, sir. Sir, bye, sir.
Thank you, sir.